Madonna stuns in new photo. That's a headline, and headlines are how we get our news today. Well, we get articles fed to us, but we really just look at the headline and say, yeah, we got it. Yeah, you wrote that piece, right? You had to stay late on a Friday, author of this article, and work on this. You got to skip your family dinner. I say it like it's a privilege, but actually it's the reason you won't be close to your kids. That, and you won't show up to their music recitals because you're reading these articles you're writing these articles that we won't read. But you gave us a headline, and that's what we'll take and run with. And that's what we'll tout as something that we know. Even though we don't know the details, we take a headline and we run with it. And a big headline hit this weekend. If you're tapped into the sports world, you know what it was, but it was Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis. So Anthony Davis went to the Mavericks. And if you have a friend, the only reason I'm bringing this up, I'm not going to get into it. I have extensive ball knowledge, but I don't want to bore you with it here, right? Inundate you with balls. Well, knowledge about balls. I gotta check my phrasing there. But I say this to say that if you have a friend that is involved in sports, check in on them, because this is affecting everyone. Even if you say, oh, it doesn't affect me, Gauruv, I don't watch that nonsense, there is someone, a loved one in your life, someone you're close to, that is being affected by this. So I would just check in with them. And you don't have to do much. Just say, hey, how about that Luka? And then just let him vent. Don't say anything, don't intervene, don't ask clarifying questions. Sometimes, right, they might say something. Just let him go, okay? Don't intervene. They need this. This is a time you can be close to someone. I saw someone on social media being like, I'm going to sew Luka Doncic my way into someone's studio apartment this weekend, and I think they probably did that successfully. It's a great opening line. If you're thinking about texting that special someone, right, you're kind of on the fence, this is a perfect global event, I would say. I think it's essentially another version of a pandemic, right, something we all relate to. I think it's a great in. If you've been on, right, you're kind of pussyfooting around, as they say. If you want to pull the trigger, I think Luka's the way to do it. You can hit someone, right? Slide in their DMs and say, so, how about Luka? And that's all you need. Already, they can see that, oh, they know a little bit of ball. That's very nice. And they'll respect you a little more. So check in on those people because they need it. They're going through it today. You want my opinion? All you ball knowers, you want to know what I think? I think it got a little worse for both teams. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to get into the details, but I just think it's a little worse for each team. Some people are saying the Lakers are going to win championship, but I don't think so. They lost their big. Now all they have is Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes, his last game, he played 22 minutes. He got 4 points, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. That's a center. Again, I said I wasn't going to say anything about it. But Dallas lost a pure scorer. Now who's going to score? Kyrie? Kyrie can score, but he's a playmaker on that team. What, AD? You want him to score? He can, but he's more of a defensive player. That's why they picked him up. Again, I'm not going to say anything about it. But in the talks of headlines, I would like to talk about headlines because I don't like most headlines today. I think headlines today are wrong. They're too extreme, right? Like the one you always hear is the internet is blowing up over this thing. But who's to say that that's true? Who said you speak for the internet? You're saying this very, very assuredly. But did you check with the internet? What did they say? Because you're speaking on their behalf. That is a tall tale. It's a big place, the internet. Because like I said, this Luka trade, it's affecting tens of millions of people. I believe Luka posted on his Instagram, right? A full post, shared it onto his story. In the first 4 hours, I believe it had 1.3 million likes. That doesn't account for views. That is purely someone going to his page and liking that post. So I think it's fair to say tens of millions of people are being affected by that. But still, if you don't follow sports, you didn't even know that was happening. I talked to my mom today. I was telling her about it, and she was like, oh yeah, your sister mentioned something about that. Fill me in on the details. And then I told her, all the details over about 30 minutes. And then she was like, wow, and isn't that crazy? I had no idea any of this was going on. And I was like, yeah. And there are millions of people that are in shambles right now. Some people are saying this is the worst thing to happen to someone in Dallas. I'll let you take it from there. But the internet's a big place. So how dare you speak on its behalf? Oh, this thing is the internet's blowing up over this thing, and it's a celebrity's dog. The internet's blowing up over this celebrity's dog. What's so special about the dog? I'm not a betting man, but I'll bet the internet is not blowing up over this thing. And I think we've lost our way too. What does blowing up mean? Back in the early internet days, right? The early YouTube days, maybe like the 2005 to 2010 era, if something got like 1 million views, maybe like 5 million views even, we'd be like, oh, that's viral. Because it was. But now, you tweet something and that shit gets 5 million views in like the first hour if you're like a blue checkmark person. So really, we gotta adjust for social media inflation. What the internet used to blow up over, they're no longer blowing up over, right? It's a different game. It's kind of like when people, going back to basketball, they talk about Michael Jordan. They're like, well, yeah, he had all these great stats, but he played against substitute teachers. He played against janitors, right? These guys wasn't playing against real competition. So when you have these GOAT debates of today, you got to think about, well, who are they playing against? And I think that's something you have to consider when you think about these articles. Who are these articles playing against? They're playing against today's audience. And I think today, it takes a lot to make the internet blow up over something. There's a lot of stuff that happens on the internet that a lot of people don't know. Like I said, the pandemic, that, I think it's fair to say, we all knew that was happening. There's probably this one, like, no-contact tribe on some island that's like, does it feel quieter around here? I don't know what it is, but there's usually, like, boats going by, right? I mean, I know we don't really know much about the modern world because we're, like, a no-contact tribe, but we know what boats are, and they haven't really, like, gone by. Do you think there's something, do you think we should, like, send someone out to check on other stuff? They're like, hey, Greg, we're a no-contact tribe, all right? That ruins the whole thing. If we send someone out there, well, what do you think that does? It initiates contact. Come on, snap out of it, man. You're like, oh, I'm sorry. Don't know where my mind's at. Man, I'm getting away from my ways, huh? Thanks for centering me. But I think it's too loosey-goosey nowadays. I think it's too much about people saying the internet is freaking out when they're not. The internet is actually very, very tame about these things that you claim we're blowing up over. Yeah, I'll include myself on there. I'm on the internet. I'm on the web. Why do older generation people, why do they do that? They use these specific words that only they use. Like the web, and then any alcohol is liquor. Oh, are we having some liquor tonight? Yeah, right before supper, you old coot. What do you mean? Yeah, you want to sip on some liquor before bingo night, bud? Don't say that. You're aging yourself, man. I think we freak out too easily. And this is me. See, someone could look at this and be like, the internet's blowing up over the articles that I've written. And yes, because I am on the internet and I am blowing up about this. I am irate. I am beside myself. I am irked adjacent, dare I say, at how bullshit this is. I don't like this. Speaking on my behalf, how dare you? It's kind of like when you experience a thing with a friend, right? Let's say you go on a roller coaster with a friend, and you go back to your other group of friends, and the two of you are reporting on the outing. And then your friend decides to, give the account for both of you. The other part of your friend group is like, oh, how was it? And you're like, oh, it was great. And then the friend jumps in. They're like, oh, it was amazing, but you should have seen him. He was screaming his pants off. And I'm like, whoa, what's this revisionist history? You don't speak for me. All right? I could say the same thing about you. Granted, I don't have pants on right now because, yes, I did scream my pants off. Literally, they're up in the safety net. They're going to actually get a really tall ladder and get them down. I told them they were designer. Didn't think I had to tell them that because they were bejeweled jeans, but, some people don't have class. Some people don't understand the fine things in life. But yeah, you're right this time, but enough of that. Don't speak on my behalf. But yeah, sometimes you'll experience something with a friend, and then do they ever recount it a different way, and you're like, oh, that's how you interpreted that? I've talked about this on this podcast ages ago, right? But I'll bring it up here. I have a theory. It's not even really a theory. I think it's like, it's just true, right? Well, no, actually, I'm imagining myself saying it. This is an insane thing to say. It's not insane. I think all history is fake. Oh, no. He had a perfect run, but now I'm listening to a crazy guy. I knew it. I knew something was wrong with this guy. No. I'm not saying that all history is fake, like the big stuff. The big stuff, that's true. I'm saying the details. I think the details, you can't trust them. Because like I said, you could go, right? A place. You go to a dog park with your friend. It's weird because you and your friend don't have dogs, but you still go there for fun. What's that about? We'll dig into that later. There's something deep there, underlying. You'll work it out later in life, don't worry. But you go to a dog park and you see these two dogs, right, going at it. Oh, you know, as dogs do. And then you go to this other friend group, right? I don't know why this other friend group, they're never there to join you for the fun, but they're always interested in hearing about it. And you go to this friend group and then you tell them, oh my God, you should have seen this. This little dog was beating up on this big dog. And then my friend is like, no, the big dog was beating up on the little dog. And I'm like, all right, well, that's wrong. But then what are they going to say, right? They just have to believe us, but who do they believe? Two conflicting ideas. So then when they write the history books, they'll go with whichever one of us they like more. And so that's where I'm saying history is fake, all of it. And then, you know, there's already that idea, right? The winners write history. So yes, that's the big overarching idea. But I think even the little things that happen, I think those things get really muddled. And then that's why you can't trust history. Oh yeah, this person said this. And says who? If you ask any of these people writing these articles, they're going to say the internet blew up like 1,000,000 times in the past 10 years. That can't be true. Or else we wouldn't have, if it blew up, why is it still there? Also, when I was younger, I used to think that meant, oh, the internet has a chance to like disappear because this thing got too big somehow. This is probably what the Y2K people felt. They were like, holy fuck, our calendars are going to go from 99 to 00. So then computers are going to explode, right? And you're like, well, okay, that's a weird, how did you get there? Wait. So you said, you exactly explained how it's possible, right? It's going to go from 99 to 00. Why do computers have to explode? That doesn't, what the fuck? How did you get there? But I used to think, I remember the first time I heard, oh, the internet's blowing up over this thing, was that Kim Kardashian photo where she like popped champagne, it went over her head, and it landed in a glass on her butt. I remember everyone being like, this is blowing up. The internet's blowing up over this. I used to be like, oh my God, Kim, calm down. I like my games online. If you ruin this for me, I'm going to be quite upset. I'm going to be a little perturbed, maybe for a week. Then I'll find new enriching hobbies like reading and walking and hanging out with friends. But if you do that, it's going to be a good week where you're on my naughty list, okay? Expect coal. But yeah, I think we go too far now. And that's why clickbait doesn't even work now. Clickbait, it had a good few years, right? I would say maybe 2010 to 2015. You could, post a thumbnail and be like, I can't believe, People still do it. I'm probably guilty of it too. But I don't think it does anything for anyone. Like now it's just the norm, right? I think in the past we used to see that and we'd be like, oh my God, no way. Maybe I won't believe it. But now we look at that and we're like, oh yeah, I mean, I'll probably believe it, but I'll watch it anyways. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, they use them on too small of things. This celebrity dog is blowing up the internet. Did the dog cure cancer? Unless the dog is contributing, don't fucking come up. If the dog started paying rent, which dogs will probably have to, coming up here, things are getting expensive. I think a lot of people that you didn't think was going to happen, I think a lot of people are going to start pet accounts, like pet Instagram accounts. I've talked about them on here. But I think a lot of people that you didn't even think would do that, I think they're going to start dipping into that. Because they like breakfast, right? They like eggs. They want to be able to buy those. So they got to exploit their dog and give the internet something to blow up over. Am I right? I was thinking, speaking of sporting events, I don't know why I had this thought, but I was like, oh, what if there was never score kept at games and it was just up to the audience to keep score themselves? Do you understand how weird that would be? Again, I know you could ask, be like, wait, why would that happen, Gauruv? I don't know. None of this is real. Do you want me to explain? This is a bit, okay? But imagine at sporting events, the crowd had to keep score. It would be easy for a game like soccer, right? It'd be like, did they do it? All right, one. That's all we have to really remember. They're not probably not gonna do it again, right? But at basketball games, that's got to be so annoying. It's really good that they keep score so that we're all on the same page. Because you can imagine, right? In the crowd, there will be people be like, that wasn't a three. And you're like, yeah, that was clearly a three. He shot it from like half court. You're like, no, I don't think so. This isn't something up for debate. He was clearly, what? You're like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, you like this team and you're still, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm like, hey, we're on the top level. We're in what? Grab my ticket. We're in seat 273, okay? Unless you are hiding some binoculars, none of us can see that shit, okay? Maybe I am wrong. I'm not sure. And then we look down and it's actually halftime and it's a bunch of like high school kids playing for one quarter because they let them do that for some reason. But yeah, can you imagine if they left it up to the crowd? People with bad memory would be like, fuck. Was it 42 to 40? Oh, damn it. 43, right? Yeah. And then you have that one asshole kid behind you being like 7, 8, 37, 52, 73. And you're like, stop saying numbers. I'm trying to keep them in my head and you're fucking me up. And speaking of sporting events again, oh man, he's on a roll, isn't he? You know what also rolls? Balls. There's balls in sports. Apparently, the top like 20 video games, top 10, we'll go top 10. Like the top 10 video games like the past decade all have guns and balls. Isn't that funny? It's like sports games and then like Call of Duty and like other variations of Overwatch now, you know? Whatever the flavor of the year Overwatch is. Right now it's Marvel Rivals. But the other thing I thought about was, do you think you could be with someone that yells at specific players at sports games? I went to a Kings game months ago, maybe 2 months ago, and there was this couple in front of me and my friend, and the guy kept screaming at LeBron specifically. It was a Lakers versus Kings game, and one of the lines he threw out was, "Fuck you, LeBron." Why don't you go to Turkey to get hair transplants, you balding bitch? I was like, oh my God. This man knows a little bit of world history, right? He knows that Turkey's the place you go, but I'm like, wow, why do you use that knowledge for bad, right? You were given this power, and the way you wield it is troublesome, sir. But his girlfriend, I don't think, seemed to mind. She was laughing at the things he said. And I was like, wow, maybe there is someone for everyone, right? But I thought about it, and I was like, I don't think I could be with someone that like yells at like professional athletes. I don't think, again, it's not like a red flag. It's not like an ick. It's just something I don't think, maybe it is actually a red flag. I don't think I would want. That's, okay, you know what that is? That's like a friend that you see like once a year, and you're like, oh, that's someone interesting to give me perspective about life, but that's not someone you trust. And that's what you need in a relationship. You need someone you can trust. I just don't think there's trust available there for like a romantic partner that does that. Again, it's usually like in a straight couple, it's usually like the guy doing it. So I'm probably good, right? But can you imagine? I can't, and that's my thing. I don't think I could be with someone that does that. And it does make me wonder when people do that. What are they okay? Not it's but like, why do they hold such animosity towards these like strangers that don't even know they exist? Like, what is that? Like, I know there's some people, right? There's some athletes that when I watch them rub you a little bit the wrong way because you're like, oh, that's kind of a dirty player. I don't love seeing that, right? Like like fucking Isaiah Stewart. Someone made a good point. This is a very ball heavy episode here. Someone made a good point. Every single highlight you see of Isaiah Stewart, he never has the ball in his hand because he's just like trucking someone or he's like punching someone or trying to choke someone. This man plays basketball. This isn't even hockey where it's built into the game. The man is just always out for blood. It's crazy. So I can get like players like that, you'd be like, oh, I don't love that. But like just most players, why do you care? And then care enough to be like, fuck you. And also, what's hilarious is we were sitting right behind a basket. LeBron was on the other side of the court. He wasn't even on this half of the court. I'm like, brother, if you want him to hear you, he won't even be able to wait till he gets on this side of the court. But then that's the thing. If he said it when he was on this side of the court and LeBron looked at him, he'd probably be like, oh, fuck. It's like the in-person version of like a keyboard warrior. Because LeBron's not going to come up there, right? He's got a game to play. He's not going to be like, who said that? Who, you? 30 rows back? Wow, couldn't afford closer seats? He starts roasting you. Like, yeah, man, it's been rough at work. Oh, rough at work, yeah. And here I am trying to do my job and you're yelling at me. So guess we have a lot in common, don't we? Shut the fuck up. I think there'll be a superiority dynamic or superiority complexes that appear in terms of AI. Remember during the pandemic, there was a big discussion, right? The internet was blowing up about it. But it was this superiority complex that would develop depending on which vaccine you got, right? There was Moderna and Pfizer. Those were the top two, right? And then there was the stepbrother, Johnson & Johnson. And anytime, right, you would tell people, oh, which vaccine did you get? You could tell if they said Johnson & Johnson, other people in the room would be like, oh, nice. Hey, I mean, way to stay safe, huh? Some people, you just gotta give what they'll take you. And they're like, what do you mean? They're like, oh, nothing. If you don't see a problem with it, then I don't either. And they're like, no, but what problem would there be? I got the vaccine. Sure you did, bud. Sure you did. Yeah. You ever wonder why they only have to give it to you once? Yeah. You think they're putting Johnson and Johnson, both of them inside? Nope. That shit doesn't work, bro. And I think the same thing will happen with AI because I did it myself. I was talking to a friend earlier this week and we were talking about computers. And he thought of a question regarding computers, like specific specs about this one system we were looking at. And he was like, here, let me ask real quick. And he whips out his phone. I thought he was going to go to the internet, right? Like a normal person. And he whips out a AI chatbot. I look over his shoulder and it was the Meta chatbot. And I was like, oh. He's like, what? I'm like, oh, no, nothing. He's like, oh, do you not use AI chatbots? I'm like, no, I mean, sometimes I'll play around with them, you know. The good ones. He's like, what was that? Oh, nothing. I didn't say anything. He's like, no, I think you were saying that this is not a good one. Is that what you were implying? Oh, no, I just got to thinking, if there is something like ChatGPT or DeepSeek out there, I just wonder, why are you using Meta's AI chatbot? And they're like, hey, I don't know, man. Okay, it's just on my phone. I'm like, yeah, but you put it there. Don't. Why are you acting like the phone has a life of its own? You fully consented to that, and now you're actively participating in it. And he's like, man, I feel like you're victim blaming. Well, okay, whoa. Well, you're the one using the Meta AI chatbot, okay? Don't turn me into the bad guy. You should be locked up, okay? Not me. But I think this is going to start to happen. I think people are going to be like, oh, what AI are you using? And people will be like, oh, I just Googled AI and just clicked on the first one. And the first three are always sponsored links, so it's going to be some bullshit. Where the company didn't invest anything into the technology, they just invested into advertising and sponsorships. So they keep showing it to you, but then when you use it, you're like, this is bad. But your friend doesn't know that. So they just Google AI chatbot, and they pick that first one. It takes them to this page with like 3 pop-ups that they have to close out. And then every time they click one, it like opens it in a new tab. And I'm like, you gonna close that first tab? They're like, oh no, it's fine. I'll go back to it. I'm like, yeah, now that's just sitting there though. That's like a virus just sitting there, just simmering, right? It's like chili. It's a slow bubble. I would just knock that out if I were you. But yeah, I think people are gonna get weird like superiority complexes and be like, yeah, I use ChatGPT. Yeah. Yeah, do you know the source code behind it? Yeah. Yeah. And you understand that the one you use doesn't have that? Yeah. Yeah. It's stupid. I've been playing video games again. I've relapsed. I used to play video games a lot, middle school, high school, every day, pretty much after school. Some days I wouldn't get to it because I would do my homework first. And it just would run long and I had a bedtime, you know? And I thought about it. I'm like, oh yeah, the last time I really was like playing video games was like 2017, freshman year, like first quarter. Then starting in winter quarter, I kind of just stopped playing video games altogether. But recently, right, I was using my computer and it was an old computer. This shit requires Windows 11, but it's not compatible with Windows 11. So it keeps telling me, hey, upgrade, upgrade. And I'm like, yeah, I would love to. Go ahead. And they're like, yeah, not here. Don't try that shit here. I'm like, what? You're telling me I need this pass to get in? They're like, yeah. I'm like, so can I buy the pass? They're like, no. Okay, so what do I do here? They're like, I don't know, leave. You're you're my computer. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. We were cool. We used to be cool. Okay, we had a good thing going. You lost your way. Okay, I lost my way. You you're stuck in your ways. Okay, if anything, you need to get better. Oh, again, yeah. Your friend told me you're a victim blamer. Okay, I don't like this. I don't like this generating narrative about me. Okay, I'm just gonna take my stuff and leave. Good. So I did. I got a new computer, and it's great. Oh my god, this computer that I'm talking about, the old one, it's from like 2017, 2018. Technology's gotten better. That's crazy, bro. But I've been playing games and it's fun. And I didn't realize how different it is playing games as an adult versus like a kid. We'll call like a late teenager a kid. Well, they are kids. Yeah. But like high school kid, you know what I'm saying? Like college, I feel like when you talk about college students, I still think of like college students are like kids. So I'm saying even like before that. And the difference I've noticed is like I become more efficient in other things in my life just so I can play the game. Like you ever have a crush on someone and then you're going to like hang out with them. So you get all your shit done so you can spend all your time with them. That's what I do with video games. It's made me a better person. It's made me want to be better. Because a lot of time, right, I would dilly dally, procrastinate, and because there was under no timeline, right? I'm like, I just gotta get this shit done by the end of the day, and then I'll be good. But now I'm like, oh, I need to get this done so I can do that thing. And so yeah, I think I've become more efficient because like I have something I'm working for. I do it for you. My hands look like this, so my hands can look like this. This is me holding a controller. It's hard to do with a microphone, but you get it. But there are some differences, I have to say. Because when you were younger, right, there were all those friends you used to play with. Now, all the friends I used to play with, they're like relationships and doing like real life shit. And they don't have time for games. And I don't believe it. It's unbelievable. Said the same thing twice, two different ways. Because these friends, what are they doing, right? They're like furniture shopping, wine tasting, going to dinner with other couples that they don't even like, but they became couples at around the same time. So they bonded over that and started having dinner every month and then became a thing. So they're like, maybe we should just keep doing this. But then low key, each couple, when they depart from the dinner, they're just talking shit in the car about the other couple, comparing that couple to them, being like, man, we're so much better. And then you think, oh my God, their relationship is just built on hate. They don't even like things together. They just hate on things together. So then you wonder, oh my God, when is eventually this group date, right? Couples date, gonna break off, right? 1 month, one won't reach out to the other, and they'll just separate. These people aren't really their friends, they're just friends by circumstance. And then they have nothing else to hate, and they start turning to each other and hate each other. And then it falls apart. And meanwhile, they could be playing Minecraft with me. But no, they go through that shit. What the fuck? So yeah, it made me think of like older people, like very old people. And I'm like, man, that's fucking tragic. Because like very old people, maybe all their friends have passed. Again, this is this is an extreme, okay? But playing video games made me think of this. Like very, very old people that have lost everyone in life, right? Everyone is basically younger than them. Everyone in their life is like their kid and their grandchildren. They don't have any of their friends or like family older than them that were like their teachers and their guides in life. And I was like, fuck, that's got to be sad as shit. Because you're like in this world, but it's like not really your world anymore. And that's like low key how I feel about video games. Because like I'm in this world, I'm playing video games again, but I'm like, oh, I'm just kind of like playing with myself. Easy, easy. Take a cold, hard look at yourself in the mirror and think about what you just thought, okay? But I thought about that, right? I have all these gray names on my friends list. I'm like, oh, these are all relics of the past. I don't even know who these people are anymore. But at one time, these were people I would see online every single day. I'm like, wow. So I'm having fun doing the thing. But as anything, right? Anytime you play or do these activities, they're always fun with other people, with friends. And so this is fun to play these video games. But I'm also like, damn, I can't do this with my friends. They're all busy. They just like either don't game anymore or just they don't have time for games. I'm like, damn. But I'm cool. It's actually low-key scary because I'm like, oh, am I too content now? Like I used to just like edit, watch movies, watch TV shows, exercise, bake, read. And I was like, oh, but I still have like a little bit of time. This is taking up all that time. So I'm like a fully self-sustaining system now. I get all my entertainment and all the satisfaction like from myself. So I'm like, where do I go from here? Like it's going to be so hard to convince myself to be in a relationship with someone because I'm like, no, I got it all here. But no, I know how to make space for other people. And I do still look forward to that. But video games have kind of scratched this itch that I forgot was even there. And it feels good. So, gamers, rise up. And maybe, I don't know, later this year I might stream. I really like streaming. I used to stream in high school for, like 4 people. And 3 of them were myself watching on my own devices. But I can see myself later this year. Now they have a system that actually can breathe. I did a download of a 15 gig game on my old system. Took 45 minutes. New system, same game, 15 gigs, 4 minutes. Bro, technology's so good now. That's why I use the Meta AI chatbot. Okay, easy. Keep your distance from that guy. But thanks for not keeping your distance from this podcast and giving it a listen. And thanks for showing up all these weeks in a row. I really appreciate it. I know last week I said I'm going to be more responsible this week. I'm going to record this a little earlier so that I get this up when I'm clear-minded and fully lucid. Last week I recorded at 1:35 a.m. Well, this week I was better. I recorded it at 12:30 a.m. So it's an hour. It's an hour. It's better. It's all relative. Okay, I'm getting better. And I hope this podcast is getting better. I don't know how this episode was. I hope it was good. I don't know why. I've like lost like being able to assess like if these episodes are good or not. I think a few weeks ago, I was able to kind of feel like, oh, this was good. But these past few weeks, I'm like so lost. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I'm like, yeah, I just talked for 31 to 33 minutes. Maybe it was good. I don't know. But I hope this was good. I appreciate your support as always. Make sure you like, comment on this video, and I will talk to you next week. Okay?